Who has said that?
You have repeat.
No, I haven't.
What?
I've never said that.
You haven't said on your show 40 decapitated
No.
babies?
Never.
You haven't said on your show 40 decapitated babies?
Never.
You haven't said on your show 40 decapitated babies?
Never.
Here's how unverified information can change the landscape of a war and pave the way for horrific outcomes. You've likely seen the headlines about 40 babies being beheaded by Hamas fighters in the Kfar Aza village in southern Israel. It's hard to miss. It's everywhere. It's been carried by a number of reputable news outlets, repeated on live TV by powerful political figures, and featured on the front cover of British newspapers. The only problem is there's so far no proof to the story, but it hasn't stopped a spiraling and dizzying loop of hysteria from dominating the news cycle over the last few days. So how did it spread?
There's a roadblock between us, Piers, because it seems that we are far apart of actually what happened on October 7th. And I know there's a lot of people here came and talk about what happened October 7th. I would like to have a chance to tell you what, with my point of view, what me and my people think. And
Go
you
on,
can,
tell me. Tell me
okay.
what you think happened.
So there are three big things that made the world accept what is happening now in Palestine. And they talk like, what will happen now? What can we get it? Three things. The story of what they decapitated babies.
That was not true. That was not true.
That was not true.
The story of what they decapitated babies.
That was not true.
Good. So why didn't the Western media refute it? Why didn't they?
Well, it was
back?
refuted very quickly.
Really?
Yes.
But
very quickly.
How many times you say? How many times the Western media has used that media until today? Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, is still repeating it until now.
Well,
Benjamin
it's
Netanyahu.
not true.
I know, but it was.
But it has been discounted by the media.
No, not really.
It has.
Not really. Not really. Not really. And it didn't. And in the discounting and refuting, and I think when you have an apology or a retraction, it has to be.
Yeah, but I was accused of saying it. I never said it. I was accused of saying it. I never said it.
I was accused of saying it. I never said it.
And you know what is similar? Is when you spread the lies of 40 decapitated babies, although it was refuted. So what happens when people hear that, killing babies is horrible. But when you say decapitated 40 babies, you are planting a certain image
Well, who has
with a
said
certain
that?
trigger in people's mind.
Who has said that? Who has said 40?
Who has said that? You have said
that?
40 decapitated.
Who has said
you
that?
You have repeat.
No, I haven't.
What?
I've never said that.
You haven't said on your show 40 decapitated
No.
babies?
Never. We can't ignore this extraordinarily sad, horrible story that's come out of Israel. What do you make of this?
Well, it's barbaric. I mean, it's one of the... I can't think of anything that has upset me more other than 9/11. And I don't really want to talk about it too much because I get upset. So if you want me to be crying during your show, go ahead.
No, I tell you, I myself choked up earlier reading this new revelation about 40 babies being killed.
Oh my God.
And some of them
Don't.
being beheaded. 40 babies being killed.
Oh my God.
And some of them
Don't.
being beheaded.
40 babies being killed.
Oh my God.
And some of them
Don't.
being beheaded.
I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children. I never thought I'd ever, anyway.
But it was.
But it has been discounted by the media.
No, not really.
It has.
Not really. Not really. Not really. And it didn't. And in the discounting and refuting, and I think when you have an apology or a retraction, it has to be.
Yeah, but I was accused of saying it. I never said it.
You said.
No, I didn't say it.
You said. It came to me as a revelation that I read about 40 killed, 40 murdered babies. Some of them are decapitated.
Yeah, maybe in that, yeah.
You said
Which
that.
were early reports.
With John Collins.
Yeah.
Right?
Which were early reports.
I understand.
Which turned out not to be true.
I know, but like
Right.
but you understand the shock, the initial shock that made the public turn a blind eye of what's happening. Because like, I mean, if I was like a European, it's like, oh my God.
But I would throw back at you, Bassem, this. I don't know if you've seen all the GoPro camera footage from Hamas that they broadcast to the world, but I have seen a lot of it.
Me
now.
too.
And
I have them. I've seen them.
So I think splitting hairs, which is what I would call it, over the nature of the depravity, given the way that they openly boasted and gleefully conducted so much depravity. I just think it's a bit pointless. It's like, what's the point?
So let's talk
what you're
about
trying to say is, yes, they were barbaric. Yes, they were disgusting. They may not have done this precise thing, so therefore I give them a pass.
But no, but that matters. I know what, because if I came here on your show and I told you 5 million children were slaughtered in Gaza, what would you tell me, Piers? You said, no, there are only 16
I agree.
17,000 people.
Facts matter.
Because facts matter.
Yeah.
Because here's the difference between...
But I told you I agree with you.
But here's the thing, the difference between killing children and decapitating babies, the image of decapitating a baby, that makes an effect.
But kidnapping a baby is okay.
Never.
But they kidnapped a baby.
You see, that's this. You got coming down to it. You're coming back to like.
No, I'm saying, what's the difference?
No, the difference is.
You kidnap a baby and take it away from its family.
And you decapitate 40 babies. That's terrible, right? I mean, the thing is, both of them are terrible.
You're trying to, if you don't mind me saying, what you're trying to do is say, well, they weren't quite as medievally barbaric as that, but they did do this, and that's not as bad. And I'm saying to you, actually, it is as bad.
Yeah, one person.
Kidnapping a baby.
One person killed, one person
and they
kidnapped.
did behead people.
Where?
On October the 7th.
When?
Multiple reports of beheadings.
Babies?
I didn't say babies. I said they did behead people.
Why would they?
Is beheading an adult worse or better than a baby?
Like, how many decapitated babies, Palestinians, have you seen already on television?
Yeah, way too many.
Yes.
Disgusting.
Yes. Again.
But I can say both are disgusting. Can you?
Yes.
You do?
Of course.
So you accept people were beheaded?
But again, media.
Do you accept people were beheaded on October the 7th?
I haven't seen anyone beheaded.
So no evidence of any...
I've never seen it.
What do you think happened then to all these people?
Oh, they were shot point blank. They were some of them... a couple
None were
of them,
beheaded. You don't believe those reports?
I don't believe them, yeah.
Come on.
But like even in one or two, it's terrible, of course. But like, okay, you go in... I mean, I don't understand. Like, my point is, Piers, is that on October 7th, there's a lot of very, very sensational report that made people turn a blind eye of what's going in Gaza. One of them is the beheaded babies, right?
But that was discounted so quickly.
No.
It was, I remember.
Well, so why is Mike Johnson still doing it and saying it like...
I've not seen him do that, but if he is, he's wrong.
Yeah, but many of them still. That is actually the narrative. That's the narrative. That's how we
I've not seen anyone in official...
So that's one thing. This is the decapitated. But the second thing, the Hannibal Directive. Low-key sat here in my chair, and you talked to him and you said... you read a piece of Hart saying that investigation if the IDF ordered Hannibal Directive to be used, adding that they didn't know how many soldiers were killed. But it was used. And then 2 minutes later, he said, like, there's a lot of documentation. And he said, like, I just read it to you. It's never happened. No, it happened, Piers. Now, in the same report that you quoted...
I did later in the interview tell him that I knew that there had been reports in Haaretz that had happened.
Yes, and there is another...
But just to be clear, that's not been admitted by the Israeli government.
Yeah, well,
I'm not saying it didn't happen.
Well, they're liars.
Yeah, but I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I did say to Low-key that there is reporting in Haaretz, which is one of the big Israeli media publications, that it had happened and that order had been given. It has been unequivocally denied by Israel.
Yeah,
that's my point.
I know, okay.
Right. But my point about what Hamas did is almost all of it is indisputable because they gleefully broadcast it to the world. These things are not up for debate. They went house to house.
I never denied it, and I'm not defending it.
So trying to equivocate with
I'm not equivocating.
the scale of the barbarity.
No, the scale is important. The scale is important because if you came to today, first of all, the original number was 1,400. It was down now to 1,200, and then it down to 1,129. That is the final official number. One baby was killed, Mila Cohen, 10 months old.
And one kidnapped.
One kidnapped.
Right.
One baby was killed, Mila Cohen, 10 months old.
And one kidnapped.
One kidnapped.
Right.
One baby was killed, Mila Cohen, 10 months old. And one kidnapped. One kidnapped. Right.
We have some really disturbing new information out of Israel. The Israeli Prime Minister's spokesman just confirmed babies and toddlers were found with their heads decapitated.
No, we had been hearing reports that this had happened, but now we are getting this confirmed directly from the Israeli Prime Minister's office.
The big lie becomes overwhelmingly obvious. You know, Hitler's propaganda minister, Joseph Goebbels, actually said, and here he's giving away the fact that they know their lie, he actually said that if you repeat something, however ridiculous, enough times, you can convince people of anything you want to convince them of. You can convince them that a square is a circle. It's a matter of repetition. It's a matter of controlling the media. It's a matter of pounding away with the point of view until otherwise normal people believe it just because of the repetition.
I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children. I never thought I'd ever. Anyway.
The White House retracted the statement, telling media Biden and other US officials have not seen pictures or confirmed such reports independently. The US president's remarks were based on media reports and claims made by Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's spokesperson.
That if you repeat something, however ridiculous, enough times, you can convince people of anything you want to convince them of. You can convince them that a square is a circle. It's a matter of repetition. It's a matter of repetition. It's a matter of repetition.
What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
You briefed the press, did you not, when you were there? Well, I had several jobs. One of my jobs was that of analyst. I also was an interrogator and indeed briefed the press when we, the CIA, wanted to circulate disinformation on a particular issue. Disinformation is not necessarily a lie. It may be a half-truth. And we would pick out a journalist. I would go do the briefing and hope that he would put the information in print. For instance, if we wanted to get across to the American public that the North Vietnamese were building up their force structure in South Vietnam, I would go to a journalist and advise him that in the past 6 months, X number of North Vietnamese forces had come down the Ho Chi Minh Trail system through southern Laos. Now, there is no way a journalist can check that information. So either he goes with the information or he doesn't, and ordinarily or usually, the journalist would go with it because it looked like some kind of exclusive. And I would say our percentage planning that kind of data was 70 to 80%. The correspondents we targeted were those who had terrific influence.
Do you condemn Rupert Murdoch?
I'm not talking about Rupert Murdoch.
Do you condemn Rupert Murdoch?
I'm not talking about Rupert Murdoch.
This has never been shown on British media. This is a letter from Netanyahu's political office. And Bridget may well recognise the handwriting of Benjamin Netanyahu here. It is a list of individuals that Netanyahu considered to be funders of his political campaign. There is a name on this list. The name is Rupert Murdoch. Your employer.
You know what, Loki?
It seems he funded Benjamin Netanyahu. That's an issue.
You know what, Loki? It's not an issue for me.
It's an issue, and actually it's in the interest of objectivity that you state it.
Rupert Murdoch can speak for himself. You've got a problem with him, take it up with him.
I do.
I can tell you categorically, he has never had a single conversation with me about anything I've put on Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Sam Kiley resigned from the Times newspaper because of Murdoch's investment and bias towards
you have a
Israel.
problem,
This document, this letter,
you're a rapper,
clearly
right?
shows Benjamin Netanyahu noting Rupert Murdoch, considering him to be a funder of his political campaign.
You're a rapper, yeah?
That's an issue.
You're a rapper. Do you condemn P. Diddy?
Yes.
Great. You see how easy it is? You take it out of your obsession, which is that you hate Israel so much you can't condemn anything that people do to them?
We see the situation differently.
Not really.
My loyalty is to the people.
I agree with you a lot more. I agree with you a lot more than you realise.
I view myself as loyal to the people of the camps, to the people under the bombs. I do not view myself as loyal to somebody that would end up on a list of potential funders of Benjamin Netanyahu.
I like Rupert Murdoch enormously. I respect him enormously. And if you
won't condemn his funding of Netanyahu, you won't condemn his funding of Netanyahu.
You don't condemn mass murder.
You don't condemn mass murder.
Oh, I do.
Condemn the Israeli military for mass murdering Israeli captives.
Had you bothered to watch this programme for the last year, you would see I've regularly condemned them.
It's not condemnation.
No, but you don't think that what Hamas did was murder, do you? You think it's resistance?
I think the vast majority of humanity perceive asymmetrical warfare by developed militaries against the vast majority of humanity are post-colonial subjects, Piers. They came out of decolonization. So their conception of these issues is just not the same as yours, unfortunately.
We will have to disagree, but that's fine.
No problem.
All right. It was good to meet you. Thank you for coming in. Brigitte, thank you very much indeed for joining me. I appreciate it too. And we'll move on. And listen, the story won't go away. Come back. We'll debate it again.
Thank you.
But remember, I agree with more than you think with what you say.
Okay.
All right. But at some point, you've got to have a little bit of something about you that says that some things that people do to Israel can also be wrong. You don't think so?
I mean, you're misrepresenting my
Am I?
point of view. Yeah.
Can you think of one thing people have done to Israel that's wrong?
I think giving it $8.7 billion in military aid.
What's your thoughts? Please be respectful with your comments. Also, please click the like, click the notification bell, and subscribe to this channel.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14 verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was Abraham, born in the city of a black man called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10.